Assets can make you look rich, but cash flow decides how free your life really feels. Pause for a second and think about your own life. Have you ever worked hard, earned more than before, and still felt a quiet pressure sitting in the background? You pay your bills, but you still hesitate before resting. You still think twice before spending time with family. You still feel like you cannot slow down. That feeling is not because you are careless or ungrateful. It comes from depending on money that only arrives when you keep moving. A lot of people chase assets, titles, and numbers because they believe those things equal freedom. But many of them still feel stuck in routines they do not control. They own things, yet those things own their time, energy, and peace of mind. Real freedom feels very different. It feels calm. It feels steady. It feels like knowing your basic life is supported, even if you step back for a moment. This video is not about getting rich fast or impressing anyone. It is about learning how rich people actually think about money in daily life, why they focus on cash flow before status, why steady income matters more than big numbers on paper, and how this way of thinking slowly removes stress from your decisions, your sleep, and your future. If you are tired of working harder without feeling safer, tired of success that still feels fragile, and ready to build a life that feels stable from the inside, stay with this video. What you are about to hear can change how you see money, time, and freedom forever. Number 1, distinguish assets from income for freedom. People spend years working hard and still feel tight inside because they never slow down to understand one simple difference that decides how free their life will be, and that difference is between assets and income. Income is what shows up when you work, and assets are what keep working when you stop. Many people confuse the two, and that confusion costs them peace, sleep, and control over their future. You can earn a good income and still feel trapped if every dollar depends on your next effort. You can look successful from the outside and still feel pressure every month when bills wait and time feels short. That pressure is real, and it sits in your chest when you wake up in the morning and in your mind when you try to rest at night. Income is important, but income alone is not freedom. Income is effort connected to time. You show up, you perform, you get paid. Stop showing up and the income stops. That system creates motion but not relief. It keeps you busy but not calm. Assets are different because assets bring money without asking for your constant presence. They give you space to breathe. They give you room to think clearly. They reduce fear because they do not depend on your mood, your health, or your energy level on a single day. Freedom begins when a person understands this difference deeply, not just on paper, but in feeling. You feel the difference when money arrives, whether you work that day or not. You feel it when you can say no without panic. You feel it when your choices are not rushed by bills. Assets do not make you lazy. Assets make you steady. They allow you to act from logic instead of stress. They give you time to improve skills, health, and relationships. Many people say they want to be rich, but what they really want is relief. They want mornings without tension. They want evenings without worry. They want to make decisions slowly and carefully instead of urgently. Assets move you toward that relief because assets support your income instead of replacing your life. Income feeds your present, but assets protect your future. A person who thinks like the rich does not ask how much money can I make this month, but asks how much of this income can be turned into something that pays again next month. This thinking changes daily behavior. It changes how you spend, how you save, and how you plan. It teaches patience because assets grow with time, not speed. It teaches discipline because assets require consistency, not excitement. Many people work hard and reward themselves quickly. They spend first and hope later. That habit keeps income busy and assets empty. The rich thinker reverses this. They pay themselves into assets before they upgrade lifestyle. This is not about suffering. This is about choosing peace over pressure. Short-term pleasure fades quickly, but long-term stability stays with you every day. You feel stronger when you know your basic needs are supported by something you built. That strength shows in your posture, your voice, and your choices. You do not chase approval because you are not chasing survival. You do not rush decisions because time is no longer your enemy. Assets slowly change how you see yourself. You stop feeling like a worker and start feeling like a builder. Income asks, what did you do today? Assets ask, what did you build yesterday? Income depends on energy. Assets depend on systems. Energy goes up and down. Systems stay. That is why freedom is tied to assets, not effort alone. Effort is honorable, but effort without direction leads to exhaustion. Assets give effort a destination. When people rely only on income, they often feel fear around rest. Taking a break feels risky. Slowing down feels dangerous. They feel guilty when not producing, because money stops when movement stops. Assets remove that fear. They allow rest without regret. They allow learning without loss. They allow growth without panic. Thinking like the rich starts with respect for money, not worship but respect. Money is a tool that can either disappear or multiply based on how you guide it. Income is a stream that flows through your hands. Assets are containers that hold and redirect that flow. Without containers, the stream runs out quickly. With containers, the same stream fills many places. This way of thinking also changes conversations. You stop asking people how much they make and start asking how they structure their life. You listen differently. You look for patterns, not luck. You stop admiring spending and start admiring stability. You value quiet progress more than loud results. The difference between assets and income also shapes character. Income can feed ego. Assets feed humility because they grow slowly and demand patience. You learn to wait. You learn to plan. You learn to say not now to things that do not move you forward. This builds self-trust. When you keep promises to your future self, your confidence grows naturally. Many people think freedom means doing nothing. Real freedom means choosing carefully. Assets do not remove responsibility. They give you better responsibility. Instead of managing stress, you manage systems. Instead of reacting, you prepare. Instead of surviving, you design. Think about how it feels to know your basic monthly needs are covered, whether you feel strong or tired. That feeling is calm. It is quiet. It is steady. That calm allows better thinking. Better thinking leads to better decisions. Better decisions lead to better life outcomes. This chain starts with understanding assets versus income. Income is a paycheck. Assets are a foundation. A paycheck solves today. A foundation protects tomorrow. When tomorrow feels secure, today feels lighter. You smile more easily. You listen more carefully. You stop rushing life. That emotional shift is not small. It changes relationships, health, and purpose. The rich thinker is not obsessed with money. They are focused on control. Control over time, control over choices, control over direction. Assets provide that control. Income alone does not. Income is permission-based. Assets are ownership-based. Ownership brings dignity and confidence. Every step toward assets is a step away from fear. Even small assets matter because they train your mind. They prove that money can work without constant effort. That proof changes belief. Belief changes behavior. Behavior changes results. Freedom is not an event. It is a process, built quietly through understanding and action. When you clearly distinguish assets from income, you stop confusing movement with progress. You stop confusing earning with building. You start living with intention. Think carefully about every dollar that comes in. Ask where it goes and what it becomes. If it disappears, then income controlled you. If it multiplies, then you controlled income. That is the difference that shapes a free life. This understanding does not demand perfection. It asks for awareness and consistency. It asks you to think beyond today without ignoring today. It asks you to use income wisely so assets can grow steadily. Over time, pressure fades and confidence grows. Freedom does not arrive suddenly. It shows up gradually in how you feel when you wake up and how you think when you plan. It shows in the absence of panic. It shows in the presence of choice. That is the reward of knowing the difference between assets and income and choosing to think like the rich.
Number 2, build assets that create reliable cash flow. People often say they want security, But what they really want is to stop worrying about whether money will show up next month. That worry follows people everywhere. It sits with them at dinner. It shows up when they check their phone. It waits quietly when they try to sleep. Reliable cash flow is what eases that worry. Not sudden money, not lucky money. Reliable money that arrives again and again because something you built keeps working. Building assets that create reliable cash flow is not about chasing excitement. It is about choosing stability over drama. Many people confuse growth with noise. They chase fast results because slow progress feels boring. But boring progress builds strong lives. Reliable cash flow grows quietly. It does not ask for applause. It asks for patience and follow-through. When a person depends only on effort for income, their emotions rise and fall with their energy. Good days feel hopeful. Bad days feel heavy. Assets change this emotional pattern. Assets soften the highs and lift the lows. They bring balance. They allow you to feel grounded, even when life throws surprises. The goal is not to build assets that look impressive. The goal is to build assets that pay consistently. Consistency is what changes how you feel. When money arrives on a regular schedule, your nervous system relaxes. You breathe differently. You speak differently. You stop rushing conversations and decisions. That calm alone is worth the effort. Many people start with the wrong question. They ask, how can I make more money quickly? A wiser question is, how can I build something that pays again next month and the month after that? This question leads to different actions. It leads to planning instead of reacting. It leads to learning instead of guessing. Reliable cash flow comes from assets designed to solve real problems. When something helps people consistently, it gets paid consistently. That is a simple truth many overlook. The rich thinker studies needs, not trends. Trends fade, needs stay. Assets tied to real needs survive time. Building these assets requires focus. Scattered effort creates scattered results. Trying to build everything at once leads to frustration. Progress comes from choosing one direction and staying with it long enough to see results. This builds confidence. Confidence fuels consistency. Consistency creates reliability. Early stages often feel slow. That slowness tests character. It tests patience and belief. Many quit here not because the idea was wrong, but because the waiting felt uncomfortable. Growth that lasts rarely feels exciting at the beginning. It feels quiet and uncertain. Those who continue despite that feeling are the ones who succeed. Reliable cash flow also demands discipline with money earned. When income increases, many people increase spending first. This delays freedom. Assets require reinvestment. They require saying not yet to upgrades that feel good, but do not move life forward. This choice builds self-respect. Self-respect strengthens resolve. As assets grow, something important changes inside. You stop feeling desperate for approval or opportunities. You choose carefully. You say no more often. You stop chasing everything and start selecting what fits your long-term direction. This clarity reduces stress and builds confidence. Reliable cash flow does not mean easy money. It means predictable money. Predictability brings control. Control brings peace. Peace allows better thinking. Better thinking leads to better decisions. This cycle improves life in ways people do not expect. People often underestimate how emotional money is. It affects mood, relationships, and health. When cash flow is unstable, emotions swing wildly. When cash flow is steady, emotions stabilize. This stability improves communication and trust with family and partners. It removes tension from everyday life. Building assets also teaches responsibility. When something depends on you to function, you become more organized. You pay attention to details. You show up even when motivation is low. This builds character. Character is the foundation of lasting success. Reliable cash flow is not built through hope. It is built through systems. Systems remove guesswork. They reduce dependence on mood. They create structure. Structure supports progress. Progress builds belief. Belief fuels action. As assets mature, you notice a shift in how you value time. You stop filling every moment with work. You protect energy. You plan rest intentionally. This does not reduce productivity. It improves it. Rested minds make smarter choices. Many people fear commitment because they fear missing out. Builders understand that commitment creates freedom. Choosing one path deeply beats touching many paths lightly. Reliable cash flow rewards depth not distraction. This journey also reshapes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who waits for opportunities. You become someone who creates outcomes. This identity change is powerful. It affects how you walk into rooms and how you speak about your future. There will be moments of doubt. Doubt is normal. The difference is how you respond. Builders respond by reviewing systems and adjusting actions. They do not panic. They do not quit. They refine. Reliable cash flow grows through small improvements repeated daily. Improving quality, improving service, improving attention. These improvements compound quietly. One day you realize life feels lighter. Bills feel manageable. Choices feel open. Freedom is not excess. Freedom is options. Options come from income. You do not have to chase daily. Assets provide those options. They give you leverage. Leverage gives you choice. When cash flow becomes reliable, generosity becomes easier. You give without fear. You help without hesitation. This enriches life beyond money. It strengthens relationships and purpose. Building assets is a long conversation with your future self. Every disciplined choice today is a gift to tomorrow. That thought builds meaning into effort. Meaning fuels persistence. Reliable cash flow also teaches humility. Markets change, people change, needs evolve. Staying reliable requires listening and adapt. This keeps ego in check and growth steady. As stability grows, fear shrinks. Fear of losing everything fades. Fear of speaking honestly fades. Fear of change fades. Confidence replaces it. Not loud confidence, but quiet certainty. The process demands honest assessment of skills, time and resources. Honest adjustments when results fall short. This honesty builds trust with yourself. Self-trust is invaluable. Over time, reliable cash flow becomes normal. The stress you once lived with feels distant. You wonder how you tolerated it for so long. This awareness strengthens gratitude. The aim is not to escape work. It is to escape failure. Work with purpose feels different. Assets remove urgency and replace it with intention. Life improves when money stops controlling emotions. Reliable cash flow creates that separation. It gives you space to live deliberately. This path is available to anyone willing to think long-term and act consistently. Not perfect people, persistent people. Building assets that create reliable cash flow is not just a financial decision. It is a personal one. It shapes how you think, feel, and live. Over time, it delivers something greater than money. It delivers peace. Number 3, shift thinking from salary to streams. Most people are trained from a young age to think in one straight line. Go to school, get a job, earn a salary, wait for the next raise. This way of thinking feels safe because it is familiar. Familiar ideas feel comfortable, even when they limit growth. A salary feels steady on the surface, but deep down it creates quiet dependence. One source, one schedule, one decision maker who controls when money starts and stops. That dependence shapes behavior more than people realize. Shifting thinking from salary to streams is not about rejecting work. It is about changing how you see effort and reward. A salary pays for time. Streams pay for value that continues. This shift begins in the mind long before it shows up in the bank account. It begins when a person asks a different question at the end of the day. Instead of asking, "Did I get paid today?" they ask, "Did I create something that can pay again?" A salary trains patience in waiting. Streams train patience in building. Waiting and building are not the same. Waiting places your future in someone else's hands. Building places your future in your own hands. That difference changes posture, confidence, and decision-making. You stop seeing yourself as a receiver and start seeing yourself as a creator. Many people feel tired not because they work too much, but because all effort resets to zero each pay cycle. Streams reduce this exhaustion because progress stacks. Each small step adds to the next. You feel momentum instead of repetition. That feeling alone restores motivation. A salary mindset focuses on security through permission. A stream mindset focuses on security through ownership. Ownership creates responsibility, but also pride. You care more about what you own. You improve it. You protect it. You think long-term because the benefits belong to you. This shift also changes how you use free time. Free time stops being only rest or entertainment. It becomes a chance to plant seeds. Not every hour, not obsessively, intentionally. Small, consistent actions over time create streams that surprise people who only think in paychecks. Salary thinking often leads to fear of change. Streams thinking encourages learning. When income depends on one source, any risk feels dangerous. When income comes from several places, risk becomes manageable. You experiment. You test ideas. You grow skills. Curiosity replaces fear. Emotionally, this shift is powerful. A salary can create quiet anxiety because it can disappear suddenly. Streams create reassurance because loss in one area does not end everything. This reassurance improves sleep, focus, and relationships. You show up calmer because survival does not feel fragile. Shifting thinking requires awareness of habits. Salary thinking encourages spending after earning. Streams thinking encourages reinvesting before upgrading lifestyle. This choice feels uncomfortable at first because it delays gratification. Over time, it builds confidence. You trust yourself more because you keep promises to your future. Streams thinking also changes conversations. You listen for opportunities instead of complaints. You ask how things work instead of how much they pay. You become interested in systems, processes, and improvement. This curiosity attracts new ideas in people. This shift does not require quitting a job. It requires changing intention. A job can fund streams. A salary can be a tool instead of a trap. The danger is not the job. The danger is believing the job is the destination. Streams are built slowly. They reward consistency more than brilliance. Many people wait to feel ready. Builders start before confidence arrives. Confidence grows from action, not thought. Each small success rewires belief. This way of thinking also builds patience with progress. Streams take time to mature. This waiting teaches discipline. Discipline strengthens character. Character supports long-term success. When income flows from several directions, self-worth stabilizes. You stop tying identity to one role. You feel flexible, adaptable, resilient. This resilience matters more than money because it supports use through change. Streams thinking encourages problem solving. Every stream exists because it solves something. You look for needs, you listen carefully, you improve value. This focus makes work meaningful. Meaning fuels persistence. Salary often measures success by hours or titles. Streams measure success by impact and consistency. This feels more satisfying because results reflect contribution, not attendance. Shifting thinking also changes how you handle setbacks. When one stream slows, you adjust instead of panic. You review. You improve, you move forward. This response builds emotional maturity. Many people fear complexity. Streams do not have to complex. They require clarity and commitment. Simple ideas executed well beat complicated plans rarely finished. As streams grow, gratitude grows. You appreciate progress because you remember uncertainty. This gratitude keeps ego balanced and learning active. Streams thinking creates alignment between effort and freedom. You work with intention. You rest without guilt. Balance becomes possible. Over time, this shift reshapes dream. Goals move from survival to contribution. You think about how to help more people. Helping more people strengthens streams naturally. The mind adjusts slowly. Old habits resist change. Persistence matters. Gentle pressure over time reshapes thinking. A person who thinks in streams plans years, not weeks. This long view reduces stress. Urgency fades. Strategy replaces reaction. This shift is not about comparing yourself to others. It is about designing a life that feels steady and open. Streams provide options. Options create confidence. Eventually, you notice a change in how you speak about money. Less tension, more clarity. Money becomes a tool, not a source of fear. Shifting thinking from salary to streams is a personal evolution. It changes how you see work time and value. It builds independence without isolation. This path rewards those who stay curious, patient, and consistent. It asks for faith and effort before evidence appears. The result is not just financial growth. It is emotional stability and self-trust. A life built on streams feels lighter. Decisions feel deliberate. The future feels open. That is the power of shifting thinking. Not abandoning work, but expanding vision. Not rejecting income, but multiplying its purpose. Streams do not rush, they flow steadily, and steady flow builds a free life. Number 4, grow cash flow first, before chasing net worth. People love numbers that look big, because big numbers feel like progress. Net worth is one of those numbers. It looks impressive on paper. It feels good to talk about. It gives a sense of arrival. But chasing net worth before growing cash flow often leads to a life that looks strong, but feels fragile. A number can rise while daily life still feels tight. That tension is a signal that priorities are out of order. Cash flow is what touches life every single day. It pays for food, shelter, time, and peace of mind. It decides whether choices feel open or forced. Net worth does not buy groceries. Net worth does not lower stress at night. Cash flow does. When money arrives steadily, life feels stable. When it does not, even large assets feel heavy. Many people collect assets that increase net worth but do not increase daily income. They feel proud seeing the value rise, yet still feel pressure each month. That pressure shapes behavior. It creates anxiety around spending, rest, and decision. Wealth that does not support life becomes a burden instead of a benefit. Growing cash flow first builds a foundation. It strengthens the base before stacking weight on top. With steady cash flow, decisions feel calmer. You think clearly. You act with patience. You stop rushing outcomes. This clarity improves every other area of life. Chasing net worth too early often leads to illiquid choices. Money is locked away. Value exists, but access does not. This mismatch creates frustration. You own things, but still feel limited. Cash flow removes that feeling. It brings flexibility. People often ask how wealthy someone is. A better question is how stable they feel. Stability comes from income that repeats. It comes from knowing next month is handled. That knowledge changes posture and presence. You walk differently when you are not worried. Cash flow supports learning. When basics are covered, you invest in growth without fear. You try new ideas. You improve skills. You take measured risks. Fear fades when survival feels secure. Net worth without cash flow can trap people in appearances. They protect image instead of progress. They avoid change because assets look good but do not support adjustment. Cash flow encourages adaptation. It provides room to pivot. Growing cash flow first also builds discipline. You focus on systems that produce results regularly. This focus strengthens habits. Strong habits create reliability. Reliability builds confidence. Confidence fuels growth. Many people delay joy while chasing a future number. Cash flow allows balance. You live well while building well. This balance prevents burnout. Burnout destroys progress faster than mistakes. Cash flow teaches patience. It grows through consistent action, not excitement. This patience spills into other areas. Relationships improve. Health improves. Decisions slow down and improve. Net worth often reflects past decisions. Cash flow reflects current behavior. Focusing on cash flow keeps you present. You pay attention to what works now. This awareness prevents stagnation. People with strong cash flow feel less attached to status. They do not need to prove success. They feel it daily. This quiet confidence is powerful. It attracts trust and opportunity. Growing cash flow first also protects against shocks. Life changes unexpectedly. Income that flows cushions impact. Assets without income can amplify stress during change. Cash flow supports generosity. Giving feels safe when money continues to arrive. This generosity enriches life beyond numbers. Chasing net worth can create comparison traps. You measure yourself against others. Cash flow focuses you inward. You measure progress by stability and growth. This internal measure reduces envy. Cash flow allows strategic thinking. You plan months and years ahead. You invest with intention. Net worth chasing often leads reactive decisions. based on market noise. Growing cash flow builds emotional maturity. You learn to delay gratification wisely. You value progress over applause. This maturity strengthens character. Cash flow also improves health. Stress decreases. Sleep improves. Focus sharpens. Health supports productivity. Productivity supports growth. Net worth alone does not reduce daily decisions. Cash flow simplifies life. It removes constant calculation. Simplicity frees mental space. People often believe net worth equals freedom. Freedom is the ability to choose calmly. Cash flow delivers that calm. Growing cash flow first aligns money with life. Money serves needs before image. This alignment creates satisfaction. Cash flow supports creativity. When survival is secure, creativity emerges. Ideas grow. Innovation increases. Net worth can rise silently while cash flow shrinks. This imbalance is dangerous. Awareness matters. Cash flow reveals truth. It shows whether systems work. It gives feedback quickly. Net worth hides problems until they become serious. Growing cash flow first builds resilience. Resilience matters more than peaks. Life is long. Stability wins. Cash flow also strengthens negotiation. You confidently when you are not desperate. Confidence improves outcomes. Net worth chasing can encourage shortcuts. Cash flow growth rewards steady effort. Effort builds skill. Skill builds lasting success. Cash flow connects money to value creation. You focus on serving needs consistently. This service mindset sustains growth. Growing cash flow first builds trust with yourself. You prove you can support life reliably. Self-trust is invaluable. Cash flow makes planning realistic. You budget honestly. You invest wisely. You avoid fantasy projections. Net worth often fluctuates. Cash flow steadies emotion. Emotional stability improves relationships and leadership. Growing cash flow first teaches humility. You respect process. You respect time. This humility keeps learning active. Cash flow supports freedom of movement. You change locations, routines, and schedules with ease. Net worth alone can feel distant. Cash flow feels personal. It arrives in real time. Growing cash flow first prepares you for net worth growth. When assets increase later, they rest on a strong base. Cash flow reduces fear of mistakes. You recover faster. Recovery keeps momentum alive. Net worth chasing can delay life enjoyment. Cash flow allows presence. Growing cash flow first aligns success with daily life, not future promises. Cash flow builds confidence quietly. It shows up consistently. Consistency builds belief. Net worth is a snapshot. Cash flow is a rhythm. Rhythm supports life. When cash flow grows first, net worth follows naturally. The reverse is not guaranteed. Focus on what feeds life before what impresses others. A calm life is built on steady income, not impressive numbers. Grow cash flow first, and let net worth become a result, not a goal. That order changes everything. Number 5. Use assets to replace monthly expenses. Most people look at their monthly expenses as enemies. Rent, utilities, food, transport, insurance, subscriptions. They see them as problems to fight every month. That mindset creates stress because expenses feel endless and effort feels temporary. A calmer and wiser way to live is to let assets take responsibility for those expenses. When assets start paying the bills, life changes in a deep emotional way. Replacing monthly expenses with assets is not about luxury. It is about dignity. It is about waking up, knowing that some part of your life is already handled. That feeling brings calm before confidence. Calm comes first. Confidence grows later. When expenses no longer depend fully on your daily effort, your mind relaxes and your choices improve. Most people work to pay bills. Builders work to remove bills from their shoulders. This shift changes motivation. You stop running on pressure and start moving with purpose. Every asset you build is a worker you hire. It shows up every month without complaints, without mood swings, and without excuses. Replacing expenses one by one is powerful. You do not need everything covered at once. Covering one bill changes how you think. When one expense disappears from your worry list, you feel lighter. That emotional relief fuels momentum. Momentum makes consistency easier. This approach changes how you view progress. Progress is no longer about earning more only. It is about removing pressure. Removing pressure improves health, relationships, and focus. You become more present because your mind is not crowded with worry. People often chase income goals without noticing that expenses rise with income. That race never ends. Using assets to replace expenses breaks that cycle. Instead of running faster, you shorten the track. Less pressure means fewer urgent decisions. Fewer urgent decisions mean fewer mistakes. Replacing expenses also builds patience. Assets take time to grow. Waiting teaches discipline. Discipline strengthens character. Character supports long-term success. Emotionally, this shift builds safety. Safety allows honesty. You speak your truth more often when you are not afraid of losing everything. This honesty improves relationships and leadership. Monthly expenses create a rhythm of obligation. Assets create a rhythm of support. Support feels different in the body. Shoulders drop. Breathing slows. Thoughts become clearer. Replacing expenses also changes goals. You stop aiming for big numbers and start aiming for quiet stability. Stability feels better than excitement because it lasts. Many people delay peace while chasing future success. Covering expenses with assets brings peace sooner. Peace improves performance. Better awareness accelerates progress. This approach encourages thoughtful spending. You evaluate expenses carefully because each one represents a future responsibility. This awareness reduces waste naturally, without force. Replacing expenses builds confidence in systems. You trust processes more than luck. This trust stabilizes emotion during uncertainty. As more expenses are covered, fear reduces. Fear of saying no fades. Fear of change fades. Confidence grows quietly. Replacing expenses also improves sleep. The body rests better when survival feels secure. Rest improves judgment. This method teaches gratitude. Each covered expense feels like a win. Gratitude keeps you honest and learning active. Replacing expenses reduces dependence on external validation. You feel strong internally. Strength attracts respect naturally. This approach aligns money with life. Money stops being abstract. It becomes practical support. Replacing expenses also protects against burnout. Pressure is a major cause of exhaustion. Removing pressure restores energy. When expenses are covered, creativity increases. Creativity thrives in safety. Safety allows experimentation. Replacing expenses changes how you plan time. You invest in growth activities because basics are handled. This strategy builds resilience. If one income source changes, expenses remain covered. Replacing expenses also reduces conflict. Money stress is a major cause of tension. Stability improves harmony. As assets replace expenses, you gain leverage. Leverage gives options. Options create freedom. This freedom is not loud, it is quiet confidence. Replacing builds trust with yourself. You see proof of progress. This approach also encourages long-term thinking. You plan years ahead calmly. Replacing expenses aligns effort with meaning. Work feels purposeful. This method reduces comparison. You measure success by stability, not display. Replacing expenses also improves generosity. Giving feels safe. This path is accessible to anyone willing to think patiently and act consistently. You do not need perfection. You need direction. Replacing expenses one bill at a time builds a solid life. This is how assets serve you. This is how pressure fades. This is how freedom grows quietly. When assets replace monthly expenses, life feels supported, not strained. That support changes everything. Number 6, reinvest cash flow to buy more assets. When money starts flowing in regularly, the most important decision is not how much to enjoy, but how much to direct. Cash flow is powerful because it gives choice. Choice can either build a future or quietly delay it. Reinvesting cash flow to buy more assets is the habit that separates short-term comfort from long-term freedom. It is not flashy. It is not exciting. It is effective. Many people finally reach a point where money feels easier. Bills are covered, stress drops, breathing feels lighter. At that moment, a quiet temptation appears. Spend more, relax more, upgrade everything. This is where most people slow their own progress without realizing it. Comfort is pleasant, but comfort without intention can become a ceiling. Reinvesting cash flow is a decision rooted in self-respect. It says, I value tomorrow enough to guide today. It is not about denying enjoyment. It is about delaying excess until stability turns into strength. Each reinvested dollar becomes a worker. One worker becomes two. Two become four. Growth begins quietly. This habit changes how money feels emotionally. Instead of disappearing, money becomes constructive. You see it turning into something useful. That usefulness builds confidence. Confidence reduces fear. Fear reduction improves clarity. Reinvesting cash flow also builds momentum. Momentum matters because it reduces the need for motivation. When progress continues automatically, you stay engaged without forcing effort. Assets begin supporting each other. One stream feeds another. This cooperation creates stability. Many people wait for a big opportunity. Reinvestment trains you to value small, consistent actions. Small actions repeated often beat rare, large actions. This mindset builds patience. Patience strengthens discipline. Reinvesting cash flow teaches control. You decide where money goes instead of reacting emotionally. Emotional spending fades. Intentional allocation grows. This control spills into other areas of life. As assets multiply, dependence shrinks. You rely less on any single outcome. This reduces anxiety. Reduced anxiety improves decision-making. Reinvestment also builds humility. You recognize that growth takes time. You respect process. Respect for process leads to sustainable success. This habit changes identity. You stop seeing extra money as a reward. You see it as fuel. Fuel drives systems forward. Systems create reliability. Reinvesting cash flow also creates distance from impulse. Impulse seeks immediate pleasure. Reinvestment seeks lasting value. Choosing value builds character. Many people believe success means consumption. Builders know success means expansion. Expansion creates options. Options create freedom. Reinvesting cash flow improves focus. You track progress. You measure improvement. Measurement encourages refinement. This practice also strengthens resilience. Markets change. Income fluctuates. Reinvestment cushions setbacks. Cushions reduce panic. Emotionally, this habit builds calm confidence. You feel prepared. Preparation reduces fear of the unknown. Reinvestment encourages learning. You study where to place money wisely. Learning keeps growth active. As assets increase, gratitude grows. You appreciate progress because you guided it. Gratitude stabilizes ambition. Reinvesting cash flow also reduces lifestyle inflation. Life feels sufficient. Satisfaction increases. This habit teaches long-term thinking. You plan beyond immediate desires. Long-term thinking improves outcome. Reinvestment creates a sense of partnership with your future self. Each decision today supports tomorrow. This relationship builds trust. When cash flow grows and is reinvested consistently, you feel momentum even during quiet periods. Quiet progress feels different from stagnation. Reinvestment reduces comparison. You focus on your path. Comparison fades. This approach also improves leadership. You model discipline. Others notice stability. Reinvesting cash flow builds flexibility. You adjust strategies calmly. The habit also improves sleep. Financial direction reduces mental noise. Reinvestment turns money into structure. Structure supports life. People misunderstand wealth. Wealth is not spending power. Wealth is staying power. Reinvesting cash flow increases staying power. This habit protects against complacency. Progress continues. Reinvestment also improves generosity later. You give from strength, not fear. As assets multiply, work feels optional, not forced. Choice replaces urgency. Reinvesting cash flow aligns effort with vision. Vision guides decisions. This habit builds quiet pride. You know you are building something real. Reinvestment strengthens patience muscles. Patience supports growth. Over time, reinvestment compounds belief. Belief fuels consistency. Consistency builds reliability. Reliability builds freedom. Reinvesting cash flow is not about sacrifice. It is about sequencing. Build first, enjoy fully later. This approach creates a calm life. Calm improves clarity. Clarity improves outcomes. Reinvestment also encourages simplicity. You value progress over display. As assets grow, you feel anchored. Anchors stabilize movement. This habit reduces fear of loss. Loss becomes manageable. Reinvesting cash flow strengthens planning skills. Planning improves execution. This practice rewards those who trust process. Reinvestment creates alignment between values and actions. Money becomes purposeful. Purposeful money builds meaningful lives. Each reinvested dollar is a vote for your future. Votes accumulate. Outcomes change. Reinvesting cash flow to buy more assets is how momentum becomes freedom. It is how patience becomes power. It is how intention becomes reality. And it is how steady decisions quietly build an unshakable life. Number 7, measure freedom by income, not possessions. People often judge freedom by what they can show. Cars, houses, clothes, devices, vacations. Possessions are visible, so they become the scoreboard. Society trains the eye to admire what can be seen, but freedom is not something you park in a driveway or hang in a closet. Freedom is felt. It is experienced quietly in daily choices. Measuring freedom by income instead of possessions changes how life feels from the inside. Possessions can create an image of success while hiding pressure underneath. A person can own many things and still feel trapped by payments, obligations, and maintenance. That trap is heavy because it demands constant effort to sustain appearances. Income that arrives reliably removes that weight. It supports life instead of decorating it. When income is steady, you feel relaxed in simple moments. You enjoy a walk without thinking about costs. You sit with family without checking the clock. You rest without guilt. These moments define freedom more than any object ever could. Possessions demand attention. They need care, insurance, storage, and upgrades. Income gives attention back to you. It gives time, space, and calm. Time, space, and calm improve quality of life more than any purchase. Many people feel successful but still ask permission for money before making choices. They hesitate. They worry. They delay decisions. That hesitation is not freedom. Freedom is choosing without fear. Reliable income enables that choice. Measuring freedom by income also shifts priorities. You focus on stability instead of status. Stability builds confidence. Confidence improves behavior. Behavior shapes results. Possessions often lose value or meaning over time. Income keeps value because it supports ongoing needs. Needs evolve. Income adapts. This mindset reduces comparison. You stop measuring yourself against images. You measure against peace. Peace feels personal and satisfying. Income creates options. Options create freedom. Possessions create responsibility. Responsibility can be meaningful, but it is not freedom by itself. Measuring freedom by income encourages patience. You invest in systems, not trophies. Systems produce results quietly. This shift also improves relationships. Money stress is a major source of tension. Stable income reduces arguments and misunderstandings. Possessions can impress others. Income impresses your nervous system. A calm nervous system improves health. Health improves focus. Focus improves growth. Measuring freedom by income also changes how you celebrate success. You celebrate stability. You celebrate consistency. You will at control. This mindset protects against impulse. Impulse spending fades when freedom is defined internally. Income allows rest. Rest restores energy. Energy supports creativity. Possessions often require upkeep that drains energy. Income replenishes energy. Measuring freedom by income improves self-trust. You know life is supported. This perspective encourages long-term thinking. You plan life, not displays. Income supports learning. You invest in growth without fear. Possessions often create clutter. Income creates clarity. Clarity improves decision-making. Measuring freedom by income reduces anxiety around loss. Losing a thing hurts less when income remains steady. This mindset builds resilience. You recover faster from change. Income supports generosity. You give without fear of shortage. Possessions can create attachment. Attachment increases fear. Income creates flexibility. Flexibility reduces fear. Measuring freedom by income improves leadership. You lead calmly. This approach aligns money with purpose. Purpose gives meaning. Meaning improves satisfaction. Possessions may impress briefly. Income supports daily life continuously. Measuring freedom by income encourages humility. You focus on function over form. This humility keeps learning active. Income creates quiet confidence. Quiet confidence attracts opportunity. Possessions can distract from growth. Income supports growth. Measuring freedom by income simplifies life. Simplicity improves happiness. This mindset shifts attention inward. You listen to how life feels. Income supports family stability. Stability strengthens bonds. Possessions can strain budgets. Income supports budgets. Measuring freedom income reduces fear of judgment. You know your truth. Truth builds peace. Income allows choice of environment. Environment shapes mood. Mood affects behavior. Behavior affects outcomes. Measuring freedom by income and encourages sustainable living. Sustainability supports longevity. Possessions age. Income adapts. This mindset also improves gratitude. You appreciate steady support. Gratitude enhances well-being. Income gives margin. Margin gives breathing room. Breathing room improves perspective. Perspective improves wisdom. Measuring freedom by income reduces rush. You act deliberately. Deliberate action produces better results. Possessions can anchor you. Income frees movement. Movement allows exploration. Exploration enriches life. Measuring freedom by income aligns success with experience, not display. Experience builds memories. Memories define life quality. Income supports memory making. Possessions fade from memory. This mindset creates emotional safety. Safety allows authenticity. Authenticity strengthens relationships. Income supports authenticity. Possessions can mask insecurity. Measuring freedom by income builds inner stability. Inner stability improves outer results. Income supports self-respect. You manage life responsibly. Self-respect fuels confidence. Confidence encourages growth. Measuring freedom by income keeps ego balanced. Balanced ego supports learning. Income allows saying no without fear. Saying no protects values. Values guide life direction. Possessions rarely protect values. Measuring freedom by income improves adaptability. Adaptability supports survival. Survival supports growth. Income supports adaptability. Possessions resist change. This mindset helps you age gracefully. Stability matters more with time. Income supports care, health, and comfort. Possessions complicate later life. Measuring freedom by income creates peace today, not someday. Peace is the true measure of success. Income supports peace. Possessions often distract from it. When freedom is measured by income, life becomes lighter. Decisions feel calmer. Choices feel open. The future feels manageable. That feeling cannot be bought. It is built, and it begins when freedom is measured by income, not possession. Number 8. Delay lifestyle upgrades until cash flow covers them. Most people upgrade their lifestyle the moment income increases because they believe reward should follow effort immediately. That belief feels natural, but it quietly creates long-term pressure. When lifestyle rises before cash flow can support it, the future gets borrowed to pay for the present. That borrowing does not always show up as debt. It often shows up as stress, tight schedules, and fear of losing income. Delaying lifestyle upgrades until cash flow covers them is a discipline that protects peace and builds real freedom. When income grows, there is excitement. Excitement clouds judgment. It whispers that this level will last forever. Life has a way of reminding people that income can change, while expenses usually do not. Fixed expenses turn flexibility into obligation. Obligation turns opportunity into fear. Cash flow that covers lifestyle removes that fear. Delaying upgrades is not about living small. It is about living stable. Stability creates confidence. Confidence improves choices. Better choices compound over time. This is how quiet wealth is built. People often confuse comfort with progress. Comfort feels good, but progress feels secure. Security is knowing that what you enjoy today does not threaten tomorrow. When cash flow fully supports a lifestyle upgrade, enjoyment becomes clean. There is no guilt. There is no worry. There is no pressure to maintain appearances. Lifestyle upgrades create ongoing responsibility. Bigger homes demand more care. New vehicles require more maintenance. Higher standards bring higher expectations. If cash flow is not ready, these responsibilities become burdens. Burdens drain energy. Energy loss reduces focus. Delaying upgrades strengthens patience. Patience is a skill. Skills improve with use. This skill benefits every area of life. Patient people make better decisions. They wait for alignment instead of forcing outcomes. This discipline also builds self-trust. Each time you delay gratification intentionally, you prove you can lead yourself. Self-leadership is more powerful than any possession. Cash flow that covers upgrades gives permission to enjoy fully. Enjoyment without fear feels different. It is relaxed. It is present. It is lasting. Delaying upgrades also sharpens awareness of needs versus wants. Awareness simplifies life. Simplified life reduces mental clutter. Reduced clutter improves clarity. Clarity improves direction. Many people upgrade to feel successful. True success feels calm, not loud. Calm comes from alignment between income and expense. When lifestyle rises too early, people protect image instead of progress. They avoid risks that could grow income because stability feels fragile. When cash flow covers lifestyle risk, becomes manageable. Growth becomes possible. Delaying upgrades improves resilience. If income fluctuates, life remains steady. This steadiness builds emotional strength. This habit also reduces comparison. You stop matching others. You follow your plan. Following your plan builds confidence. Delayed upgrades redirect resources toward growth. Growth expands options. Options create freedom. This approach teaches respect for money. Money becomes a tool, not a toy. Tools are used with intention. Lifestyle upgrades feel better when they are earned twice. First by effort, then by sustainability. That double earning builds pride. Delaying upgrades improves sleep. Financial pressure often hides behind nice things. Removing pressure improves rest. Rest improves health. Health improves productivity. Productivity supports growth. Delayed upgrades also encourage creativity. You find joy in progress, not purchases. Progress lasts longer. This discipline reduces fear of loss. If things can be maintained comfortably, losing income does not threaten identity. Identity becomes internal. Internal identity builds confidence. Delaying upgrades allows time to test stability. Consistency matters more than spikes. Time reveals truth. This habit also improves relationships. Money stress is a common source of tension. Stability reduces conflict. When upgrades are ready, conversations become honest. You discuss goals, not appearances. Honesty strengthens trust. Trust strengthens partnership. Delayed upgrades align lifestyle with values. Values guide decisions. Decisions shape outcomes. This discipline protects against regret. Regret often comes from rushing decisions. Patience reduces regret. Delaying upgrades builds long-term satisfaction. Satisfaction grows from century, not novelty. Novelty fades quickly. Security endures. When cash flow covers lifestyle upgrades, freedom expands. You can step back without panic. You can change direction calmly. Calm change produces better results. Delayed upgrades also support generosity. Giving feels safe when lifestyle is stable. This habit reduces dependency on external validation. You do not need approval from purchases. Approval comes from self-respect. Self-respect strengthens resolve. Delaying upgrades sharpens financial awareness. You know where money goes and why. Awareness improves control. Control reduces anxiety. This discipline teaches that progress is not always visible. Invisible progress often matters most. Delayed upgrades also reduce waste. You avoid buying things that lose appeal quickly. Simplicity increases appreciation. Appreciation improves happiness. This approach builds a buffer between income and spending. Buffers create safety. Safety allows exploration. Exploration fosters growth. Delayed upgrades encourage long-term planning. Planning reduces surprises. Surprises cause stress. Reduced stress improves performance. This habit builds resilience during downturns. Life remains manageable. Delayed upgrades protect time. Fewer responsibilities, free hours. Free hours allow learning. Learning supports advancement. This discipline creates a sense of control over life. Control improves confidence. Confidence attracts opportunity. Delayed upgrades keep ambition healthy. You aim for sustainability, not flash. Sustainable ambition lasts. When cash flow covers lifestyle upgrades, decisions feel clean. There is no internal debate. Clean decisions reduce mental fatigue. Reduced fatigue improves focus. This approach also helps you age well. Stability matters more with time. Delayed upgrades allow investments to mature. Mature investments support future comfort. This habit builds gratitude. You appreciate what you have because you chose it carefully. Gratitude enhances satisfaction. Delayed upgrades encourage humility. You respect process. Respect for process supports learning. This discipline builds quiet pride. You know you earn stability. Delayed upgrades reduce fear judgment. You follow your values. Values guide fulfillment. This approach improves adaptability. You adjust life smoothly. Adaptability supports longevity. Delayed upgrades align money with meaning. Meaning fuels motivation. Motivation supports consistency. Consistency builds results. This habit transforms desire into strategy. Strategy produces outcomes. Delayed upgrades also teach boundaries. You say not yet with confidence. Boundaries protect progress. This discipline creates a calm pace of life. Calm pace improves decision quality. Quality decisions shape destiny. When lifestyle upgrades wait for cash flow, freedom grows steadily. Steady growth builds strength. Strength supports peace. Peace defines success. Delaying lifestyle upgrades until cash flow covers them is restraint. It is wisdom. Wisdom builds freedom that lasts. That freedom feels light, it feels calm, and it feels earned. Number 9. Think owner daily, not consumer always. From the moment people wake up, the world invites them to consume. Screens suggest what to buy. Conversations revolve around what to get next. Success is often presented as the ability to purchase more. Over time, this constant pull shapes thinking. Many people do not realize they are trained to consume first and think later. Thinking like an owner instead of a consumer requires a conscious shift. It is a daily mental practice that quietly changes the direction of a life. A consumer asks, what can I get from this? An owner asks, what can I build from this? That single difference changes behavior. Consumers focus on comfort and convenience. Owners focus on control and continuity. One mindset seeks relief in the moment. The other seeks stability over time. Thinking like an owner does not mean rejecting enjoyment. It means understanding consequences. Every purchase is not just money spent, but opportunity redirected. Owners see money as potential energy. Consumers see money as a reward to release. This difference shapes outcomes year after year. The consumer mindset feels natural because it is encouraged everywhere. Buy now, enjoy now, worry later. Owner thinking feels uncomfortable at first because it delays pleasure. That discomfort is temporary. The strength it builds is lasting. Owners pay attention to how things work. They notice systems, patterns, and leverage. Consumers pay attention to how things feel. Feelings change quickly. Systems endure. Thinking like an owner also changes how you view time. Time stops being something to fill and becomes something to invest. Owners ask where time goes and what it produces. Consumers ask how to pass time comfortably. This shift improves decision-making. Owners think ahead. They consider outcomes. They accept short-term inconvenience for long-term ease. Consumers avoid discomfort, even when it creates future pressure. Thinking like an owner builds self-respect. Each disciplined choice reinforces the belief that you can guide your life intentionally. That belief strengthens confidence. Owner thinking also changes conversations. You talk about improvement, not indulgence. You discuss ideas, not items. These conversations attract growth-oriented people. Consumers often feel stuck because consumption rarely creates progress. Owners feel momentum because ownership compounds. Progress builds excitement that does not fade quickly. Thinking like an owner also reduces emotional spending. Emotions no longer control money decisions. Decisions are based on alignment with goals. This mindset improves resilience. When challenges arise, owners adjust systems. Consumers feel victimized by circumstances. Adjustment builds strength. Owners focus on value creation. They ask how to make things better. Consumers focus on value extraction. They ask what they can get. Thinking like an owner improves patience. Patience allows learning. Learning improves skill. Skill increases opportunity. This shift also changes how you view mistakes. Owners see mistakes as feedback. Consumers see mistakes as losses. Feedback fuels growth. Owner thinking encourages responsibility. Responsibility builds maturity. Maturity supports leadership. Consumers often seek validation through purchases. Owners seek validation through progress. Progress feels more satisfying. Thinking like an owner simplifies life. You choose fewer things with greater purpose. Purpose improves satisfaction. This mindset also strengthens boundaries. You say no to distractions. Focus improves results. Owners understand that everything costs more than money. It costs attention, energy, and time. Consumers focus only on price. Thinking like an owner reduces regret. Decisions are intentional. Intentional decisions age well. Owner thinking also improves generosity. You give strategically. Giving feels meaningful. Consumers may give impulsively. Owners give sustainably. This mindset encourages long-term relationships. You invest time and trust. Relationships compound. Thinking like an owner improves health. You care for your body as an asset. Care produces longevity. Consumers often treat health as something to enjoy later. Owners protect it now. Owner thinking also affects learning. You invest in knowledge that compounds. Knowledge creates independence. Consumers often chase entertainment. Owners chase understanding. Thinking like an owner builds calm confidence. Confidence grounded in preparation feels steady. Consumers rely on external reassurance. Owners rely on internal direction. This mindset reduces fear of missing out. You know your path. Clarity reduces comparison. Owner thinking also improves adaptability. You respond to change thoughtfully. Consumers react emotionally. Thinking like an owner encourages contribution. You look for ways to add value. Contribution creates meaning. Meaning fuels motivation. Consumers often feel empty after consumption. Owners feel fulfilled after creation. Owner thinking builds patience with results. You trust process. Consumers seek quick outcomes. Quick outcomes fade. Thinking like an owner improves financial outcomes naturally. Money follows value creation. Consumers chase money directly. Owner thinking strengthens discipline. Discipline creates consistency. Consistency builds reliability. Reliability builds freedom. This mindset also shapes legacy. You build something that outlasts you. Consumers leave little behind. Thinking like an owner changes how you wake up. You feel purposeful. Purpose improves mood. Mood improves action. Action shapes life. Owner thinking reduces dependency. You rely on systems, not approval. Consumers depend on trends. Thinking like an owner encourages curiosity. Curiosity fuels innovation. Innovation creates opportunity. Consumers follow patterns. Owners create them. This mindset also improves emotional regulation. You respond calmly. Consumers react impulsively. Thinking like an owner builds respect for effort. Effort invested wisely multiplies. Consumers spend effort without direction. Owner thinking improves focus on essentials. Essentials support life. Consumers chase extras. This mindset reduces clutter, mental and physical. Clutter drains energy. Energy conserved supports growth. Thinking like an owner builds inner authority. You trust your judgment. Consumers seek guidance constantly. Owner thinking strengthens accountability. Accountability improves outcomes. Consumers blame circumstances. This shift does not require wealth. It requires awareness. Awareness precedes change. Change creates result. Thinking like an owner daily. Not consumer always is a quiet revolution. It changes how you see money, time and choice. It replaces impulse with intention. It replaces noise with clarity. It replaces pressure with progress. Owner thinking builds a life that feels directed, not drifted. That direction brings confidence. Confidence brings peace. Peace defines freedom. And freedom is built one deliberate decision at a time. Number 10. Act consistently to convert assets into freedom. Assets by themselves do not change a life. Ownership alone does not unlock freedom. Many people own things that could help them and still feel stuck because action is missing or scattered. Freedom is not a reward for intention. It is the result of consistent behavior repeated long after excitement fades. Acting consistently is what turns assets from ideas into support and from potential into peace. Most people act in bursts. They feel motivated for a short time, then disappear. Motivation is emotional. Consistency is practical. Emotions rise and fall. Habits stay. Freedom is built by habits, not moods. Assets respond to attention. When attention is steady, assets grow stronger. When attention is random, assets stall. Consistency creates trust. Assets need care management and review. Small actions done regularly keep systems healthy. Healthy systems produce reliable outcomes. Reliability creates calm. Calm is the foundation of freedom. People often underestimate how much progress comes from small daily effort. They wait for big moves. Big moves are rare. Small moves are always available. Acting consistently turns ordinary days into powerful momentum. Momentum removes the need for constant decision-making. You do not debate, you follow structure. Assets become freedom when they are managed intentionally. This management does not require perfection. It requires presence. Showing up regularly keeps direction clear. Direction prevents drift. Drift erodes progress quietly. Consistency also builds patience. Results take time. Time tests belief. Those who stay consistent develop confidence rooted in evidence. Evidence replaces doubt. Doubt is expensive. It drains energy. Confidence conserves energy. Acting consistently builds identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. This identity influences future choices. Choices align with who you believe you are. Belief drives behavior. Assets require adjustment. Markets change. Needs shift. Consistent action allows early correction. Early correction prevents large problems. Prevention feels boring but saves years of effort. Freedom grows when actions align with long-term intent. Short-term effort without alignment creates activity without progress. Alignment requires reflection. Reflection requires slowing down. Consistency creates space for reflection. Many people confuse freedom with absence of responsibility. Real freedom comes from choosing responsibility intentionally. Assets give responsibility. Consistent action transforms responsibility into leverage. Consistency also builds resilience. When setbacks occur, you continue. Continuation prevents collapse. Collapse often comes from stopping entirely, not from failure itself. Acting consistently removes fear of mistake. You trust your ability to recover. Recovery matters more than avoidance. Assets produce results when systems are maintained. Maintenance is not exciting. It is powerful. Power built while it lasts longer. Consistency also reduces stress. Predictable routines calm the mind. Calm minds make better decisions. Better decisions improve outcomes. Freedom feels different when earned through consistency. It feels stable. It feels deserved. It does not sit there overnight. Acting consistently also improves learning. Repetition reinforces understanding. Understanding improves skill. Skill increases efficiency. Efficiency frees time. Time supports freedom. Consistency also protects against distraction. Distractions pull attention away from priorities. Consistent routines keep focus anchored. Assets grow when effort is sustained. Short efforts produce temporary gains. Temporary gains fade. Freedom requires durability. Acting consistently builds durability. Consistency also changes emotional relationship with progress. You stop seeking validation. You trust the process. Trust reduces anxiety. Anxiety drains focus. Focus strengthens systems. Systems support assets. Assets support freedom. Consistency also builds humility. You respect time. You accept that growth cannot be rushed. This humility prevents reckless decisions. Reckless decisions often destroy progress faster than slow growth builds it. Acting consistently improves planning. You review results regularly. Review informs adjustment. Adjustment improves alignment. Alignment increases efficiency. Consistency also reduces regret. Regret comes from inconsistency. Following through creates peace with choice. Peace improves quality of life. Assets convert into freedom when they reduce dependency. Dependency fades with steady effort. Steady effort builds alternatives. Alternatives create choice. Choice defines freedom. Consistency also improves discipline. Discipline is trained, not inherited. Training requires repetition. Repetition builds strength. Strength supports perseverance. Perseverance delivers results. Acting consistently teaches self-leadership. You guide behavior instead of reacting emotionally. Self-leadership strengthens confidence. Confidence improves decision-making. Consistency also shapes environment. You create routines, spaces, and systems that support growth. Support reduces friction. Reduced friction makes consistency easier. Consistency feeds itself. Acting consistently builds momentum. Momentum feels like progress, even before results show. That feeling keeps you engaged. Engagement sustains effort. Sustained effort converts assets into freedom. Consistency also improves awareness. You notice patterns early. Early awareness prevents surprises. Surprises cause stress. Reduced stress improves health. Health supports productivity. Productivity supports growth. Consistency also teaches delayed gratification. Delayed gratification builds strength. Strength supports patience. Patience allows assets time to mature. Mature assets provide stability. Stability supports freedom. Acting consistently reduces you focus on your path. Focus builds confidence. Confidence attracts opportunity. Consistency also improves communication. You speak from experience. Experience builds credibility. Credibility opens doors. Doors create options. Options increase freedom. Consistency also builds trust. Your others. Reliable behavior earns respect. Respect strengthens partnerships. Partnerships expand reach. Reach increases impact. Impact adds meaning. Meaning improves satisfaction. Acting consistently aligns daily behavior with long-term goals. Alignment reduces internal conflict. Internal conflict drains energy. Energy conserved supports progress. Consistency also improves self-awareness. You see what works. You stop guessing. Certainty improves confidence. Consistency creates a rhythm. Rhythm stabilizes life. Stability improves decision quality. Quality decisions shape destiny. Assets do not require heroic effort. They require steady care. Steady care builds results quietly. Quiet results last longer. Acting consistently also prevents burnout. You pace effort. Pacing sustains energy. Sustained energy supports longevity. Longevity matters more than speed. Consistency also encourages gratitude. You notice progress because you track it. Gratitude stabilizes ambition. Stable ambition grows wisely. Acting consistently turns theory into practice. Practice builds mastery. Mastery creates independence. Independence supports freedom. Consistency also reduces fear of uncertainty. You know you will show up regardless of conditions. Showing up builds resilience. Resilience protects progress. Assets convert into freedom when they are nurtured patiently. Patience is an action, not a feeling. Acting consistently proves commitment. Commitment creates results. Results reinforce belief. Belief sustains consistency. This cycle builds a life that feels controlled, not chaotic. Freedom feels calm because it is built slowly. It feels earned because effort was steady. It feels real because it is supported by systems. Acting consistently is not dramatic. It is powerful. It does not seek attention. It produces outcomes. Assets reward consistency more than brilliance. Freedom rewards those who stay with the process, stay with the plan, stay with the work. Over time, assets stop feeling like responsibilities and start feeling like support. Support creates choice. Choice creates peace. Peace defines freedom. And freedom built through consistent action is the kind that lasts.